Let's take a journey about 2000 years ago and look at the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. You see, the Celts who lived around that time lived in the area that is now known as Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, and they celebrated their new year on November the 1st. The Celts believed that the night before the new year, which would be October the 31st, the barrier between this world and the other world became very thin. It was said that people were able to cross into the other world, or otherworldly beings were able to cross into ours. Since these otherworldly beings, which also consisted of spirits, demons, fairies, and even other mythical creatures that they would have believed in, it was best to stay close to the village. They would stay close to the village and engage in behavior to ward off these foul spirits that may have wandered into their world. One of the things that were done to ward off these foul spirits were the creation of huge bonfires by the Druids. You see, it was to mimic the life-giving sun in this dark period of time, and also to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. Another thing that was done to ward off these evil spirits were wearing frightening costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins. It was done to either ward off these spirits, to blend in with these spirits, or to be unrecognizable to the spirits. Now, they did not believe that all these spirits were evil spirits. They believed that some of these spirits were loved ones who had passed away, and these loved ones would have taken the opportunity when the veil was at its thinnest to come and pay a visit to their houses. So they would leave food and drink to appease these spirits, and in hopes that they also would bless them. Now, so far, we can see so many similarities to what we are doing in our present day to what we are hearing about in the ancient Celtic days. But one thing I want us to look at also is ancient Rome. Ancient Rome, in the same time as ancient Celtic days, they also celebrated a festival which spoke about the dead. And this festival was called Lemuria. Now, I'm mentioning Lemuria because it has a specific importance. You see, in 607 AD, the Romans changed Lemuria, which they used to recognize or try to appease evil spirits. They changed it on May the 13th, 607 AD to All Saints' Day, where they would recognize and honor the most holy of saints. The development of this festival would grow even further with the help of the Emperor Constantine. He was a Christian, but he wasn't always a Christian. He used to be a pagan. But that is a story for another time. Let's focus on what we are speaking about now. So Constantine, he wanted to make sure that the pagans and the Christians could live in harmony. So what took place was many pagan festivals found its way into the church, and the church tried to Christianize these pagan festivals to make these pagans feel comfortable and still at home and still have some kind of essence as to what they used to worship. All Saints' Day, which was on May the 13th, was moved to November the 1st. And the name was changed from All Saints' Day to All Hallows' Day. So that means that the day before, which would be October the 31st, was now Hallows' Eve. And it developed and eventually became Halloween. What does it mean for Christians? What does it mean for us? I think by now, reading and hearing about the history of this pagan festival, it should be pretty clear what you are supposed to do or what you are not supposed to do. But just to be safe, let us look at Thus said the Lord. What did God say about this in his Bible, his holy word? Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 9 to 13. It says, When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. You see, God does not want us to do after the world or to follow after the world. We are supposed to be a peculiar people, a people after God's own heart. We are not supposed to have one foot in the world and one foot in the church. We either in the world or we are either in the church. No man can serve two masters. You see, the Bible also says in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. These festivals, especially this one called Halloween, there is nothing good in it. It's completely dark and it's a completely pagan festival that we should avoid. These things that we do, we are following after witchcraft and satanic festivals. When these people allow their children to go and get treats and candy from strangers, they do not know who the stranger is. Some of these people are predators waiting to give these children sweets, candy, or whatever it may be that they have casted spells on. And it's a serious thing that we should be aware of. The spiritual realm is real and spiritual warfare is real. So we have to be very mindful of what we allow our children to do and what we are teaching our children to do. Dressing up in costumes on this specific day, we are mimicking what these people used to do to appease spirits, to blend in with spirits, or to ward off spirits. Why are we mimicking these people? We might say, okay, well, I'm dressing up as Superman. Okay, I'm dressing up as Spider-Man. I'm not dressing up as an evil person. But the significance of dressing up is still there on this particular day. Why don't you dress up on another day as Superman or Spider-Man? It's because this day is the day where we are wanting to follow after the world. And do not think for a moment that you will get away with partaking in a pagan festival just because you are trying to find some reasoning in doing it, some justification in doing it. God is not stupid. God knows what we are doing and he knows our heart. We want to partake in this festival, so we decide to dress up in these characters on this particular day. Do you know what Anton LaVey, the author of the Satanic Bible and founder of the Church of Satan, says regarding Halloween? Here's what he says, and I quote, "I'm glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out of the year." End quote. Imagine this. This man, who is a follower of Satan, is laughing at us. Satan and his imps are laughing at us that we are allowing our children to partake in this pagan festival because we want to have fun, because we want to follow after the things of the world. They are saying that, hey, thank you so much. You know, you worship God so much for the year, but at least for one night out of the year, you are worshiping the devil. Do you know that one night is enough to lose your life? Do you know that the smallest of sins could make you miss out on eternal life in heaven? I do not think that we should for a moment even consider participating in any Halloween events. Not even go a party on this particular day. It may be best to stay in your home and pray. Worship God in thanks and praise, and pray for the ones that are none the wise to partake in these events. They need our prayers, for they are under the influence of the devil.